what you have to do is, I have to work very hard to make sure that we maintain the startup culture. And what startup culture really means is basically, speed. So everything will get it done like that. Right? So no bureaucracy, it's static. No unnecessary processes and hassle and all of that. So it's just keeping that culture alive. Fast innovation, fast execution.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask one thing is, the startups are actually recommended to take surveys and interact with the potential consumers. So in your case, as you have seen, the black market of virtual cash was not efficient. So that was the only thing which led to you get the idea of the startup, or just any other surveys you have conducted?
So we have not done any formal surveys, but there was enough data out there that showed us that pretty much there was no legitimate, legitimate in the sense that a company that has built a platform that works, official with developers and publishers. There are all these other media type marketplaces out there, so we have already in competition. And so there was enough data, we didn't have to, so the short answer is we didn't have to do any surveys, at least in our case. Well, the girls so quiet, the girls don't have any questions.
Okay. Okay, the girls will ask the last two questions. Go ahead.
Sir, I wanted to ask, for being an entrepreneur, you need to be extremely passionate about your dream, about your business model. Right? So, along with that, how do you manage other aspects of life, like your family?
That's a very good question. Very good question. Well, it's again back to that balancing. Same thing. It's everything is about balancing. So and balancing is the hardest thing. Unfortunately, we human beings, the human species, are not genetically we are not very gifted with balancing. So maybe there are some people who are very good at it. But I think majority of them have a hard time balancing. So yes, startup is an extreme sport. And anytime you go into an extreme sport, you're gonna lose balance because the opposite of extreme is balance. And so it's a hard thing, and you have to somehow balance it. You have to adjust your mindset and say, okay, I'm gonna shut off my mind from this thing and then keep focusing on other aspects of my life.
Okay, go ahead.
As you mentioned, right now you are involved as a venture capital firm. So, what qualities do you look for in a startup or a founder that makes you want to support them?
Yeah, well, let's see. Hold on 1 second. Let me just shut the door here for a minute. Sorry. Yeah. So, well, I think the first thing is you see that the founder has talent, right? That's number one. And the talent, the talent with the right kind of knowledge, or experience. In some cases, experience is not needed. Sometimes, entrepreneurs are very, very young. They're right out of college too. A, they have a talent. B, they have done their homework in that area. And C, in general, they have this very good, they have this personality or this attitude or the mindset of, strong conviction to take something and keep it to the finish line, right? Having a very, somehow it convinces you that the person has commitment, strong commitment to, it's basically saying conviction, commitment to take something from A to B. Someone who has the personality to attract other talent. So sometimes you're a very talented person, but you cannot attract other talented people because people basically run away from sometimes very talented people. So ability to build a team, ability to communicate very effective, obviously, that will show a lot. And then, just the general track record, which is whether it is if you're just out of college, an academic track record or non-academic, or anything that you've done in your life that reflects a level of commitment. So let's say you're not a good at academics, that's fine. You always got B's and C's or even occasionally fail. But let's say you did some sports or you did some other activities, extracurricular activities. And even in those areas, if you can show the level of commitment and excellence, that proves your character. So essentially, if there is one word to summarize everything, it's the character.
Okay, last question.
You mentioned that startups go through a lot of iterations, and you also mentioned the point of over obsession. Even in your case, did you ever get to a point where you thought that maybe it is a very wrong idea and there is no pivot, or does it happen to other people? And how long should you go on?
Yeah, very good question. Generally there is always some ways to turn around. Either you turn around the product or you turn around the market. And the hardest one is where you have to turn around completely, which is both the product and the market. So that's where, if it comes to a situation where you have to turn around both the product and the market, then that's a very hard thing. And if you think that you're not going to have enough cash, then you would, basically, you shut it down. Because you may end up, if there is it's very like you make a call in terms of percentage, right? So if you think there's an 80% and above chance that you're willing to take that 20% risk that by pivoting this it's going to work, then it is worth the chance. Sometimes you have to, anything more than 50%, you can put in a lot of hard work and somehow save something. But if you think that there is only like less than 50% chance that even after doing this, right, there is a less than 50% chance, then it's not worth doing.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Karl. I think the students learned a lot. So really appreciate you waking up so early in the morning. I know you went to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, so it's only 3 hours of sleep. But thank you very much for providing us.
I'll go back to sleep now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for meeting and all the questions were great. And Raj, thanks for the opportunity.
No, you're welcome.
To speak to all of you.
Next time you visit India, you've got to come to IIT Gandhinagar.
Yes, sure.
All right, I'll do that.
You're welcome.
All right.
Okay, so the assignment, let's try and get it done through the weekend, okay? You've got the 14 points in the development manifesto. He is a real entrepreneur with a real case study, and you're going to ask pretty much a lot of the questions that cover all the points of the manifesto. And how many people think that he pretty much followed the manifesto? So by the third company, he had started following the manifesto. By the third company, he pretty much followed the manifesto, right?
So whatever mistake he pointed out, when he point he ended up in some
Exactly.
First point the first point there's nothing inside to be adding all the facts.
Exactly. I was so passionate about the company that he was not willing to have and we see nothing that I know what the customer needs. Then he over-expanded, so he ran out of money. He did the same thing as Webber, hired the wrong people. So anyway, what I'd like you to do is, all of you all have thought of, heard it and taken some notes, etc. But take all of the 14 points, just take point 1, 2, 3, 4, and write down in one paragraph or a couple of sentences, what did Playspan do? Or what did he do? Okay, because I think that will really kind of reinforce what exactly, and there'll be some on which maybe you did not answer or whatever. But I think out of the 14 points, he probably hit at least about 8 or 9 key kind of startup mindset, right? It's a startup mindset of the 14 points. Because that's really what this thing really teaches you, which is, we all know the customer development cycle or the model. But you know, the chapter 14 points was all about what should be in the startup founder's head, what should be his mindset. And you know, I think he was really good at walking through, and you guys asked all the right questions to kind of flesh it out. So next time, we're pretty much going to have a guest speaker 2 to 3 times a week, at least 1 to 2 times a week. And I want you guys to really probe these 14 points. Because you're going to find that people will have different approaches to each of them, and you should be able to start making a decision. Was this guy doing it the right way or wrong way? So sometimes even the most successful guy might have done something wrong. He might be just lucky, right? And but you can ask him and see whether he's willing to, because they've not read the book. They've read the book of life. But they took 20 years to learn all these lessons. So here we have got the luck to.
It's 21 hours.
Okay, guys. Okay, so the last thing is tomorrow we've got a very good speaker coming. He's coming here, he's Ahmedabadi. He, I think a second in SSC or whatever. He's a very bright guy, about 30 years ago, and then he became an entrepreneur after his graduation. So you're going to hear an Ahmedabadi entrepreneur tell his story, and a very successful guy on top of that. So, be prepared with your questions, and I've sent you this PowerPoint, right? I sent you a presentation. Oh, I will send it. I'll not send the presentation. I'll send you the presentation also that he's planning to make. Or actually, it's only 3 slides. We just do it. Let him just present. But you all should be really focused on probing these 14 points. And for the people that did not ask questions today, I want to give them first priority to ask questions. I really wanted to see at Harvard, people who don't ask questions get worse grades than people who ask questions. So, there's a reason why Harvard does that. Because as an entrepreneur, you have to learn to, you'll never get the answer if you don't ask a question. And you've got to know, you've got to be alert about thinking of questions, right? Maybe you think of the questions before you come to the meeting. But there's no shy entrepreneurs are not going to succeed in entrepreneurship. If you're shy, you're not going to succeed. So you have to be, even if you're shy, prepare and then ask the question. Okay? Okay, great. Physical products. So it's not a web company, it's a real engineering company.